John B. Leonard loves concrete.
Interesting picture here. This is a cathedral of sorts. Just because, you got the little obelisk here, and you got the little sort of restuccoed old cathedral with the missing tech windows, it looks like. And then this is sort of funny. Is it a Star of David, or is it the pyramid with the, the little all-seeing eye that watches us all? Wonder why. Just curious. By the shape. Perhaps someone could help me out with that. Orthodox Cathedral for San Jorge. And this one here is in Tucumán. This very impressive cathedral. Interesting little mural here with the men feeding grapes to someone. And you wonder about this stuff. Wait, Luna Park? Is there still a Luna Park? No. The old, what were they? Like the old, theme park kind of things. Look at all these statues. Man, just right next to all this relatively modern stuff, you got behemoths like this with mysterious origins. And where'd that one picture go? There it is. That's that same cathedral, but at night time, looking very impressive. And one wonders why you would seal up this door, perhaps, but not this door. Not that there's anything compelling. Maybe it's a boring story. But still, I do wonder, and that's interesting. A little bit of leftover old world stuff here, huh? Just sort of built around. I wonder what's the significance and why leave it. I would ask these gangsters that are perched on these stone balls, but they look preoccupied. Another time then. This is a church at Cafayete, looking very freshly stuccoed and, well, I guess it could be new. Modeled after the old stuff. That could be. It could be. I don't know enough about it. I can't rule it out, though. Look at this beauty. Circulo Militar. So, something military related, quite clearly. Look at that gilded gateway. Good gollywockles. What a beauty. Seems rather ostentatious for a military building, don't you think? I didn't know you boys had it in you. Such fancy pants. Or is it that you just do what most militaries do and occupy stuff that don't belong to you? Look at that motif. We see that all over. California, Wyoming, Texas. Now I gotta add Argentina to that list. Club de Regatas La Marina. Wow. Just put those boats anywhere. Sweet. Work them booties. That looks like a load of fun. And what a building. Just look at it. And what is the point of this? Was it a lighthouse once? A lookout tower, perhaps? It could function. I could see it. That dog could hunt. Here's an old picture of Buenos Aires, the Confiteria del Molino. And what is this space-age looking device? In the era of coach and buggy. Quite beautiful, and not what you really would expect, And here we go. Same building, but by modern standards. Not looking very different. Some of the ads are a little different. Cigarillos certainly got more expensive. I was in the right picture. But yeah. Kind of a blurry, grainy one, but you get the idea that it's still there. It's still beautiful. And let me guess, this is a picture of it being constructed. Yeah. Constructed, huh? What are these? These supposed to be scaffolds? Give me a break. That is simply not look even possible. Like, I don't know. Looks like this bad boy's already built. Looks like it's been built. And y'all are just digging up the bottom part. Why is it a different color? Why a different color? I mean, maybe. Just seems a weird way to do things. Got a little steamroller out here, pressing the street down. And this is allegedly 1906. I didn't know we had steamrollers like that in 1906. So amongst the first vehicles we were making, like steamrollers were amongst them? I don't know. I guess it could be steam powered. Something just seems off about it. And this is that building with the crown on it that we saw last time. Someone's about to roll down the stairs. Ooh. The National Congress building, or, the church and the seminary. Depends on what you want to call it. Since we're making this one government, this is going to be the absolutely breathtaking Congress building. Oh, we've looked at this before. From different angles, though. Convento de San Carlos in San Lorenzo. Hard to say if it's old and with a new face, sort of a slip cover, or if it's new-ish, modeled in the likeness of the old. It's getting harder to tell anymore, but we're still borrowing heavily architectural features from our forebears. Another National Bank building, looking like it's been a little stripped down, but still shows the classic elements of a world that is no longer around. Edificio Libertador desde Puerto Madero. That's what this one is, and look at this beauty. That might be one of the world's biggest mansard-style roofs in the world, which is what I said, world's biggest, but in the world. This is Edificios de la República de los Niños. This is part of the World's Fair at the Expo. No doubt, well, I'm sure they tell us it was not meant to be substantial, you know, made of a cheesecake or something along those lines. This is also part of the expo. You know, these expos, the photography and the architecture, of course, at these is very questionable. I mean, always looks very similar. Look how manicured this grass is, and these, just how gorgeous these buildings are. This is the Italian Pavilion. Guess it can be kind of translated as. Also part of the World's Fairs that were held here. This is the Postal Building, or the Postal Service Building. These are just crazy. What is this? This is before the event. I mean, what is it? I don't understand. This is grass? What is this? These light posts are just in grass, like no one's walked here yet. So the construction didn't chew up the land, and we just put sod down, fresh sod. Or, you know, usually the construction stories, I don't know about this one in particular, you know, they say it's like 6 months or so. And just beautiful. And one of these early comers to the park, just a few dudes standing around. Staggering. This is the Metropolitan Church, we're told. But it could be a bank, really. These buildings are interchangeable. Well, most of them. This one is a Methodist church, or Iglesia Metodista, and just gorgeous. Just sandwiched between two skyscrapers. Like, what is this? You couldn't give it a little more space? Good God. Look at this. On both sides, just, that must look so silly. Why would you do such a thing? It's kind of insulting. This one looks like it could be a vacation home for some elites in Rhode Island. I mean, cut from the same cloth. The same builder, no doubt, who was shipped piece by piece, arm, leg, arm, head from around the Horn. Frente de Catedral de Córdoba. And I believe we saw this one before, but man, doesn't hurt to look at it again. Yeah, we did, because I remember making fun of these little guys. This is inside of a gallery of sorts. It's giving me shopping mall vibes. But look at that dome. I mean, this must be just a repurposed building. It's just incredible. Lions or perhaps griffins. Just incredible. I mean, who does this for a shopping mall? Not bloody likely. And this is that same building. Okay, yeah, it couldn't be, because I'm pretty sure we didn't have shopping malls in 1916, and this is the same building, what it looked like from the outside in 1916. This is from the inside, modern times, when we've done this. Look at this, man, this drop-down ceiling here, and this window, it just goes to show you how deceiving it can be. If you were inside of this building, this store part, you would have no idea that above you is this, and they call this acoustic, I mean, just acoustic panels, yeah, right. More like sound dampening panels to avoid the lovely acoustics that probably were there before. Otherwise, why would the dome be there? Was the clock missing here, or what? Or was there supposed to be clocks all over? Or is the clock itself a replacement? Looks kind of tacky compared to the rest of it. To be honest with you, I think the clocks came later. At least the current clocks that are in those. This is the back, or I guess the rear part of that Congress building. And can anyone explain this? I mean, I don't know why we're blocking up these windows, but what a gorgeous building. My God. In 1816, I believe, they say this became a nation, so I wonder what the story is. We're told from 1860 to like 1930, a majority of the immigrants came here from Europe and built all this stuff. Conveniently, at the same time as immigrants from Europe were building the stuff in America and also in Europe. At the time, you see, there was infinite amount of Europeans that can just flood every country from Vietnam to India to Pakistan to Israel to China, and just this infinite level of Europeans that were also dying by the tens and hundreds of thousands in wars throughout all this time. Still, there were enough of them unskilled that could ship out to all these different places of the world and bring with them master knowledge of artisan buildings. And this is why. This is the story of why these buildings exist everywhere. And I wish that were fiction. It sure sounds like it to me. Now, maybe everybody back in the day was like a super incredible, talented person that could just whip up statues out of limestone in no time. And with fully, in a world with stable governments and nations that have long lasted the test of time, this might be probable seeming to the outside. But since that's not the case, at least it's not what we're told, buying these stories is just, well, it ain't always easy. I'm not saying I know. How the hell could I know? Am I 200 years old? Yeah, right. What am I, Yoda? Don't nobody know. We know the stories, and most of us we're told we're so illiterate for so long. I mean, it will only be written by a few people. And it's strange the way the Europeans just always get painted in the most favorable light, but only from a select part of Europe, only from a very tiny, tiny part of Europe and the world. That's where all the talent came from. The Renaissance, it all came from this little concentrated, tiny area and spread outward. Everyone else was pretty much a moron, going blah, 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 gurgling in the mud and eating acorns. Never occurred to us that you could eat animals or fish or fruit or, have agriculture or mine for material. I mean, it never occurred to anybody. This is essentially what we're told as far as the past few hundred years go, and I don't buy it. I don't buy it. This is a absolutely stunning building, and I just don't understand when and where and why it could be built with the same symbols that we see everywhere. Well, these things they call fasces, and all these things that just don't really add up. It just seems like weird thing to share this sort of symbolism with everywhere else. And it always ties back to this sort of secret society type Freemason symbolism. And, if they weren't responsible, then they're definitely a good patsy. Because it sure seems that way. What with the checkered floors everywhere and the same symbolism everywhere. And the name itself, Freemasonry, just seems like there's a little tongue-in-cheek joke that they're playing on the rest of us, or at least were, and playing on their own members for the most part. I mean, it's probably not till you get to the last page where you find out the truth, and by that point, you can't go back. Look how close they built this building. Just looks kind of silly, don't it? Well, this is another church here in Buenos Aires, and most of the population, from my understanding, most of the, whatever it is, 80 million people, maybe 70 million people, most of the population lives in Buenos Aires. I think 80% from what I'm told. And this is supposed to be some sort of meteorological indicator or something like that. Like a sundial, perhaps? A fancy sundial? Looks very high-tech for the time and place. This is the Church of Immaculate Conception. Just another stunner. Lots of these here. I think 60-70% of the population, I believe, considers himself to be Roman Catholic, if the CIA numbers are accurate. Look at this gorgeous building. These veined ceilings. Always so fun to look at. Really is. No matter what the story.
Sure, I guess it could all be true.
Whatever makes you sleep at night. Look, these things look like they just used to hold light bulbs or batteries. I don't know. Why else would you have everything made of gold like this unless it wasn't conductive, I've talked about this stuff before. It's nothing new, really. Look at that just Palace of Justice at night. How absolutely breathtaking. And the old Banco de la Nación Argentina. We know what you guys look like. You're all fancy pants here. The national banks. Cathedral de Santa Triunio. Might have butchered that. Very colorful and very standing out next to the blocky bullcrap modern buildings of today. Weird, isn't it? This is a really good one. We've seen this one before. This just looks like it is from a slice of time that we no longer have. This is a museum, obviously. It's like, alright, it's alright, guys, I'm okay. I'm right here. The saber-toothed tigers? I mean, does that not look like it just was a lion that got defaced and they shaved it and stuck these stupid teeth on it? How funny. That just looks terrible. I'm sorry if you made this or this has some special meaning to you, but this just looks poorly done compared to the rest of it, which is absolutely beautiful. Riddle me that. Now, this is the ocean exhibit inside that museum, and I believe I only took this picture, I only used this picture because of what appears to me to be, and maybe not, but this looks to me like these are like, maybe they're just tiles, but they kind of look like they were glass. There might be the floor under there. But if not, either way, this type of courtyard's very interesting. And I believe it actually has more in common with a cistern than actually functioning as a courtyard, and definitely not as a museum. There's the woman outside of the Capitol, but from much closer. Look at, what is this, satyr right here? Oh, there's some sort of mermaid thing going on here. We know what's going on there. There's that monument we looked at earlier. Some of these are repeats, I can tell. I didn't mean to do that. Oh, that's fantastic. There's a closer look up of that church, the Cathedral de la Plata, and just look at those. What look just like electric coils. You know, now the one problem that we have with this old world antiquitech, as it's colloquially known as, I guess not colloquially, but in this community, and that's no one can actually demonstrate an example of it working. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's because the motherboard is fried, per se, like as an example, like, just doesn't, something short-circuited and it just doesn't work the way it used to, or we just haven't been able to figure it out, or what. But I mean, I can't think of why you would make something like this unless it was functional. And the most common functional equivalent, at least visually, is electric towers, cell phone towers. So that's what we're sticking with until somebody gives us a better explanation. That's a beautiful row of buildings. This is also in Buenos Aires. This is in San Telmo, a museum, and very beautiful. And also, little Stafford doors, and featuring the subterranean basement that we know so well, that we've seen so many times. I don't know what this is too, but I thought the picture was cool because it just looks like something very old, just nestled in the midst of modern times. I believe this is a mosque. I don't know about the age of it, but that menorah and the dome kind of give it away. I don't know if it's sort of a modern recreation or not. Kind of looks like it. I thought it was interesting. It's the same. This is inside another mosque. And I like this because of the red and white granite tiles, which fit the copper ball up there. These things are of note. And also the star-shaped fountain, which is an interesting choice, It's like, where have you seen that before? Oh yeah, many places. This is another museum here. Very old world look to it, almost has their Tudor style. And it's another art museum that I believe it looks repurposed. Just the doorways here just look like a part that they left on, sort of a throwback to the old way it used to be, the way we see that happening in America sometimes, where the roof is modernized and things like that. But little basement windows down here, giving away the fact that it's old and dated. And this is yet another museum. And now, why would you build an entrance way the bleep up there when you can just use these doors? I don't know. It just seems odd. Anybody tell me why? Anybody tell me why? Here's inside of a different museum, but this is the patio. It's your telltale black and white checkered stripes, and get your griffins back here, and a beautiful fountain in the middle, and it just looks like so many places we've seen. I mean, look at this. Even down here on these pots. That looks like the Bavarian, same Bavarian symbolism. And this ain't no Bavaria. We are in Argentina. That's quite a long ways away. Another museum here. It's always the same. The museums, which are usually run or funded by the government, run hand in hand with the banks, the military, the schools. They're the ones, and the church. They're the ones that get the buildings. This is also another museum, and this is a Grand Hotel Provincial. Unbelievable. Looks like it could be a stadium. It's so large. This is nighttime at a cathedral we looked at once before in the Basilica de Salta. Just stunning. And why the clock only on one side, Was it kind of shoehorned in there, and what was there before, if that's the case? This is an observatory, we're told. An observatory which needs a basement, of course, for proper telescope angles. This is the Paraguay Pavilion in 1910 for the Exposition del Centenario, with our usual little suspects over here, Standing Point. And really, this whole building, just put the name Paraguay on it. That's what it becomes for the photo shoot. But what a ridiculous building to build for an exposition just for a neighboring country that's right there. Oh yeah, the Palacio Barolo. Balcony crazy as ever. Woot woot. Love that building. And this is a different palace, we're told. Oh yeah, this was just a better picture, that one that we saw early. And what is going on down here? Are we just throwing patio furniture in a big dump? Right by this bad boy? Weird little underground access tunnel there, isn't it? Well, you keep your secrets there, little palace. This is where the Secretary of Communication apparently dwells. I think that's that same building. The Ministerio de Economía, the Palacio de la Reconquista. Looking like a beautiful roof. What are we to make of all this? This is the Palacio de los Leones. You know, these are Los Leones, in case you didn't know. And looks like it's just been given the old spray paint treatment. One solid color. Back in the day, they didn't used to do that. Looked like a little more nuance with their color palettes. This is a stunning building, man. Looks like they're doing some reconstruction on her. And this is that same building, we're told, in 1890. 1890 with this weird horse-drawn trolley, I guess. We're expected to believe. And that's that building, missing a roof, in 1890. I don't know. That's what they say. This is the legislature's palace. Definitely necessary for your lawmakers to have that. Palacio Lezama, clearly a fort, as you can see by the weird little cannon down here. Palacio Municipal de Buenos Aires. So like a town hall, from my understanding. A city hall. Just gorgeous. Just look at that building. Absolutely incredible. What are we to do about that? And these twisting columns sort of implying energy movement to me. To my brain, it all looks like it carries current. Like it's a celebration of energy, a celebration of glory of the glory of the world and the light that comes from it. You know, I mean, plants, what are plants if not just beautiful celebrations of life? The way that they convert sunlight into food is just magic. And we know plants aren't magic, but whoever created them sure is. That's the magic you can keep. It's too good. That's the magic you can keep. Palacio San Martin. What a breathtaking building. My God. It just looks comical. When you park here, if you never were to raise your eyes, you'd think you were just in some little brutalism, little ugliest part of town. And you look up and you're like, good golly waffles. And just palaces everywhere. Just sandwiched between these parking garages. Look at the construction on there. Why would you do that? Why would you build into the hill like that? I don't think you would. I think the road came later. Yes, sir. Look at this beautiful building. We have gold-tipped fence posts. Like, what is that? Extra extravagant? Or a throwback from when they were conductors of some sort? I don't know. Protectors of some sort. And holy no. Wow. Look at that breathtaking building. That is absolutely stunning. The art museum? Whoa. Who drew the lucky hand that got that? That is fantastic. Such unnecessary opulence for a freaking art museum. Can't say I'm mad at you. Oh my God, that is so cool. Is it like red slate? Super cool. How beautiful. Argentina. What a shocker. What a shocker. And I saw some folks actually say, and I don't know if they're being sarcastic, but I saw some people post in the first Argentina that they weren't really even aware of some of the architecture that is in their country. I don't know if they're from a more rural area. Or actually, that wouldn't be that uncommon, because I bet you there's a lot of people that are shocked when they see images that are of places in America that exist. So it is stunning, huh? Once your eyes get open to what is all around you. It's almost like someone reaches out and touches your head, and suddenly you can see again things that you couldn't before. It's almost like a spell breaks, a spell wears off, and suddenly you can see that things that you have been taking for granted, it's just part of the background, are actually breathtaking and stunning and full of mystery. And what is adventure if not the search for truth? Those two things should not be separated from each other. Truth and adventure, and in a way, it's kind of like your duty. It's kind of like what you're supposed to do, is be truthful as a person. Finding that truth means asking questions and saying things that aren't popular and things that people aren't going to like, and they're going to push back on, and you just got to let them. Just gotta let them have the knee-jerk reaction and push back. Look at these mission ruins. This is fantastic. Now, why is this a mission ruin? Like, why can't something be given to the natives that Argentina currently has pushed to the fringes? Like 2% of the population is indigenous, at least by what the surveys say in modern times. And why is it that this also has to be a Spanish mission? This and those? All the other buildings, they're all from Spain? I mean, just seems like this is from a different era. There's a close-up of that horrendously bad, what is that, made of Play-Doh? Oh, man. I'm sorry if this is inside that mall again or whatever it was. Another observatory with telescope inside. This is a tienda a la ciudad de Londres. Another breathtaking picture from the past. My God, just look at that thing. Unbelievable. What is the point? What is the point? It's just, this is a hotel, okay. It looks like it's an old castle. I think El Castillo Esquina is the name, so they're aware of it. This is that weather device, again, at the Botanical Gardens. This is a painting of it. Very interesting, huh? Weather device. Like, what the hell does that even mean? And this is, of course, the Wells Fargo building. Yeah, Wells Fargo actually doesn't look half bad, only because it looks like it's taking a page out of the old world. But it ain't no beauty like this out there. And, Pirámide de Mayo, and more of an obelisk, really, but a weird, that's the best you can do, huh? You gotta squeeze that number in there. And I'm not making fun of Argentina or Argentinians. Yeah. I am making fun of the stories that they tell us that downplay and diminish humanity in general, especially as we are. They tell us, they just hide the truth. In so many ways, why would architecture be any different? I don't see it. Well, believe it or not, that's the end of my current gathered collection in Argentina. That was quicker than I thought. So back to the research lab, I suppose. And I'll see you all very soon.